Yeah, but the recession every 10 years comes back. Well, look, here's the deal. Most of our economic thinkers are big fans of Keynesian economics.
Yeah.
Keynesian economics is very complicated and it isn't terribly important.
Yeah.
But the big takeaway that most people take from Keynesian economics is that the economy should always be growing. It should always grow. It should never come down. It should always go forward.
That's insane.
Everyone else is studying literally anything else goes. I mean, like as a historian, I'm like, I'm so sorry. What?
Yeah,
like are you out of your fucking mind?
Cancer is the only thing that like grows.
Yeah,
all the time.
Well, and it eventually stops because the thing dies.
Yeah.
Like nothing goes on and on. Even outer space is expanding out ever, but is probably going to eventually stop and start collapsing back on itself. Maybe, we don't really know. Like the Keynesian economic model that we follow is stupid. So the reason that we keep running into these recessions and such is that rather than accepting that there is a natural ebb and flow to the economy, we push, and then it falls down, and then we push, and then it falls down.
So instead of going like, instead of riding the wave, we're just kind of like thump,
and then we climb back up, and then we fall over, and we call back up. Now
that sounds like what capitalism is doing. Like that sounds like a product of capitalism.
It is, and because this version of capitalism has metastasized. It has, like a cancer, it has wormed its way into the politics. It's wormed its way into it's wormed its way into everything.
Sure.
And so at that point, it just becomes this thing that feeds on itself. This massive consumerism and all these other things just keeps feeding on itself. And until you establish something that's going to pull back on it the other way, but we haven't been like this forever, because in the 50s and 60s, you had a top tax rate of 95 or 96% for the top earners, basically saying, listen, at a certain point, companies, no more money isn't going to help you because we're going to take it all.
Yeah.
And so what that does here is that says once a company reaches this much money, now they could go park it overseas, they could try to do a bunch of whatever, but for the most part, what the companies are going to do is said, well, then there's not much point in us making more money than this, so now we need to figure out something else. And now they're starting to put money into other things, and that's what grows. Not to mention that when it does, the government now has this surplus of cash. And of course, now we come to the other half of this, of course, because the corruption within the government doesn't make good use of that. But if you had a system where, again, you had tension, you had people pulling on either side, then that money is less of that money is likely to end up where it's not supposed to be. More, at least some of that money is going to go to roads and bridges.
So how do you sell someone that has grown up in a world where taking 90%, let's call it 90%, 95, whatever, of your money is absolutely insane. Let's say somebody making, I don't know, they make $75,000 a year. They have a house that they've worked hard for, that kind of thing. 90% of their money is going to be taken away from the government after $4.5 million, let's call it. Can you sell somebody like what is the?
No, in all sincerity, no.
There's no way to sell that.
But, and this is very important, doesn't matter. That person is not the one who decides.
But it's most people. Like most people have a mentality. I don't think.
Well, listen, most people define most people though. Like based on what numbers you got.
I mean,
because here's the thing. I think that you would find that most people, if I were to guess, don't actually think that there's a problem with taking 90% of people making $4.5 million. Like I know that they may be like, there's going to be those that are going to be opposed to it, but of the ones that are actually going to vote, like you're gonna, especially, and really if you want to sell it, if I was a politician and I was trying to sell this, what I would sell is, and then I can fix all your roads and bridges, and then I can lower your tax burden, and then I can, let me show you what I can do now, and then we can improve healthcare in the United States, and then we can, like, there's a whole, you show them what you're going to do with it. Now, this requires the Democrats to be competent. So
basically, it's a pipe dream.
Yeah, But I mean, so is actually instituting a tax where you take 90% of things over $4.5 million.
I know.
What was the thing I saw? Like when they were ever just freaking out about Biden's tax plan, and there was a picture, just a picture of the popcorn ceiling, and said if your ceiling looks like this, you don't need to worry about Biden's tax plan. And I was like, and I got popcorn ceilings at home, and I'm like, he's right though. He's right.
He's right. That's funny. It's true.
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So final thing. We put it in the end because we've been talking so much about it.
Let's go. All right.
Let's do this.
All right.
So